Okay, today is June the 15th, 2018, and right now at 10:40 p.m. we have a temperature of 64 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 75%, and the dew point is 55 degrees, and the barometer is way down at 29.85 inches, and that is because of this low pressure. This is an upper level low pressure, closed low right here. We'll take a look at the pressure maps here in a few minutes, but this is the low pressure system right here, which has brought the barometer down to 29.85. We haven't seen low pressure like that for a while, quite a long time. And we can also see a right angle here, uh, actually better in the water vapor map right here. We can see that square, sort of a semi-square. That's not exactly a right angle, but we see two straight edges. None of that is natural. That doesn't happen naturally in nature unless it's being generated by man-made means. Okay, so also we have some strange weather conditions here over the Los Angeles basin. We can see that we've got water vapor spinning around trying to get into this vortex, which is completely blockaded. We can see this black donut right around the vortex of that low, which is spinning just north of Guadalupe Island, which is right where the pen tip is, that little red dot there. That's also known as Shark Island. All right, so that's what's happening there. We've got periodic gusts of wind, fairly uh, just light winds, but that is a result of the transmitter manipulation going on right now over this low pressure system. Now, as we look at the infrared map, we see quite a bit of moisture streaming into Southern California, San Diego, and the eastern desert areas of Southern California. Notice what's happening here. If we get to the next set of maps, we can see that low right there where the tip of the pen is, and we also see these two straight edges. So we've got a transmitter working on the low pressure system right here. This vortex is being blockaded, and that's why none of this moisture is wrapping back into this low. It's trying to. We can see it. We can see what's happening there. The moisture is wrapping around this low, but it can't get into the vortex and condense and create more moisture. So we've got a blockade there, that donut, and that is what's happening there. We can see that quite clearly. And up here we can see the manipulation right in this area. We've got high pressure. We can see that sort of clockwise pattern right up here. So we're seeing periodic gusts of wind that last just a couple of minutes each, and that is preventing this thing from spooling up. This low pressure, this is an upper level low. We can see all that moisture moving into Arizona mainly and into California. Now, if we look at the Doppler map, we would expect to see some rain. Now, let's take a look. We can see some rain in the central and southern portion of Arizona. We can also see these pie-shaped cutouts from those Doppler WSR-88D NEXRAD Doppler radars, which operate dual function. They are severe weather detection radars, but they also are high-powered microwave transmitters, and that is what is causing these cutouts we're seeing. These Doppler radars are listed on, you go on to Wikipedia and you just look up WSR-88D, you'll get a map with all the GPS coordinates of where those transmitters are located. And there's one right down here near Tucson. And we can see the areas here that are being manipulated. The precipitation is being manipulated, evaporated. And look at here, over California, Southern California, there's nothing, no rain of any kind, no precipitation. So the terrorists that are controlling our weather have prevented any precipitation here in our area. And we can see the manipulation here. There are transmitters actually forcing descending air. That's what's causing this sort of evaporation pattern right there over right near the Colorado River where the pen tip is. Here's the river, which splits Arizona from California. And look at all of this evaporation taking place. We can actually see a sort of a pressure wave right towards the end of this loop right there as this area right in this area is superheated. That forces descending air, heated descending air into this area. That's evaporating all this, which should be rain and precipitation, streaming up through Mexico, Baja California, Mexico right here. And then we see we're getting rain here in the area of eastern Arizona, but nothing in California. So we need to find out what's going on with the California weather markets. That is these cat bonds and derivatives trading. There's got to be some correlation between why Arizona is getting rain and California is not getting rain. Once again, let's look at that Doppler map. That's clear to see. If we zoom out, we can get this map to work. We can see that the west coast is fairly dry, including Oregon. We do see some precipitation up in Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming right here, and a little bit up here in the Seattle and Vancouver area. Basically, the west coast is fairly dry. California certainly should be getting some rain. All right, let's look at the big map here. We can see that there was a developing storm here just a couple of days ago. This has been knocked down. This is now a gale. This used to be 3 lows spinning around on a pinwheel. And we see that this has been sort of beat up. There's not much organization. There was a right angle on this developing storm here just a couple of days ago. This is now, I believe, a 973 millibar gale force system. We can see that high pressure has been installed right here in the eastern Pacific. That is blockading all this moisture. This is part of the jet stream here. And the jet stream is actually diving down through Canada and into California. But you'd never know that because there's a transmitter right over this jet stream right here, which has evaporated all the moisture. It would otherwise be heading right towards this vortex right down here, right sitting right off of Southern California. Let's go ahead and look at the jet stream map right now, and we can see the pattern. Got jet stream moving out of the West Pacific and up over Alaska, and then right down through Canada into a portion of California. So we see all the evaporation right in this area. That's preventing the rain in Washington, Oregon, and California. Let's go back to that map again. We can see that. Actually, this map right here will be better. The western U.S. water vapor loop. We can see that the jet stream right here is being manipulated. We've got high pressure being installed right over Oregon and Washington and a portion of California, and that is evaporating the moisture in that jet stream. So there's no rain. And then here we have this upper level low. We'll take a look at the pressure maps. Here we have another low pressure system right up just east of the Hawaiian Islands. If we go back to the big map, we can see the islands are right here. We've got this huge low pressure system. This is an upper level low right there. And then we have the high pressure right here, which has been installed to block all this weather, which is not going to get anywhere near this low pressure system here. Also, we've got, let's take a look here at the National Hurricane Center map. Carlotta has formed overnight, and this was a tropical depression yesterday, and today we have some intensification, and now Carlotta has formed, which is generating 40 mile per hour winds. See that right here, 1,006 millibar central pressure, moving southeast at 1 mile per hour. Now the cone track for this storm is to move right inland, basically in a north-northeast pattern right into Mexico. All right, so that's the situation with Carlotta. Now Bud has been completely squashed. Let's go take a look at the western U.S. infrared loop. We can see that there is really no evidence of Bud, which should be right down in this area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the This is the East Pacific water vapor loop. Bud was right up in this area and right near the tip of Cabo San Lucas, or rather Baja California, right there. No evidence of bud anywhere. So that system has been completely squashed. You can see high pressure is being installed in this area. And then we have this upper level low just south of Los Angeles, right down here with that big black donut. It completely isolated that low, so it will not develop. We can see the right angle there. Right here we see that, those two straight edges. This should be dumping a lot of rain to the parched Southern California area. Once again, we have the rainbow map. No precipitation here, but plenty of precipitation here. Obviously, there's a little bit more depth and a greater mass of water vapor moving through the area in Arizona. But here's the center of the low, folks. This is the low pressure center right here. And yet there is zero precipitation here. And by the way, we had a lot of chemtrail spraying yesterday, which was an easy one to forecast. Anytime we have a no rain forecast by the stooges on TV, while we see a low pressure approaching, we can basically guarantee that there will not be any precipitation. But we will see the chemtrail jets up spraying to ensure that there is no precipitation. So the chemtrail aerosols work in conjunction with the transmitters, the space-based transmitters and the ground-based transmitters, to prevent precipitation. And of course, down here in Arizona, we see the cutouts. For instance, this one right down here near Tucson, just south of the Interstate 10 freeway. You can find these on that on the Wikipedia article about the WSR-88D. All right, let's look at some of these pressure maps. We have the sea level pressure map for the East Pacific. We can see the squiggly lines. All these isobars are all just jaggy. That's evidence of high and low pressure all mixed together. Turbulent activity in this area at the sea level altitude of 0 to 18,000 feet. So we've got a lot of manipulation going on here. We have high pressure installed to block this low pressure here. This is a surface to upper level low right here, which had the right angle on it a couple of days ago. Okay, next is the 500 millibar map. We see the low down in this area with the jaggies right here. This is all evidence of high and low pressure being mixed together. This isobar should look smooth, just like we see out here. So we've got a lot of manipulation going on here. If you can imagine a sort of a calm pool of water, and you stick your hand in that pool of water and you slosh the water around, and you watch the eddy currents on the water on the surface, that's a sort of a similar way to interpret what's happening here. We've got turbulent activity going on, and that's what's causing these squiggly lines in these isobars. These should be smooth. These are pressure gradients. Each one of these lines indicates a different pressure, barometric pressure, and so all these should be smooth. But that's not the case, and of course, none of this is shown on television, including these maps, the IR and water vapor maps. So the public is being suppressed. The evidence is being suppressed from the public view, and that is intentional and deliberate, and there's reasons for that. People would figure out that the CO2 and the smokestack emissions argument is a lot of crap. All right, here's the upper level map, the 300 millibar map. We see these two upper level lows. Yet no rain anywhere in California, but plenty of rain in Arizona. So let's hear from the meteorologists. Get your tails out between your legs and let's hear why this is happening. Let's hear from you guys for a change. Here's the surface chart. We see the 976 millibar gale right here. And then we see that the swells are being generated at 21 feet. Okay, that's it for tonight. And we will leave it right here and we'll do another update tomorrow. Okay, that's it.